Welcome back to White Fox After Hours.
Welcome.
I'm Scarlett.
And I'm Cody.
And we are your hosts of the official White Fox podcast.
We are. And how has your week been?
My week has been, I think, a bit chaos. Like, I don't know, a bit of a mix. Like, well, work has just been crazy. Like, we've just had so much going on. We've had our Era 8 campaign finally launched this week. And it has been literally everywhere. Like every single person, like we took over Instagram and TikTok yesterday.
I think we did.
Everyone posting about it.
Everyone posted. And like, I love with our loungewear collections that we have the boys posting as well, or like the girlies with their boyfriends doing their cute little couple TikToks.
I really liked Georgia and Nate's.
Georgia and Nate's is really cute. I know. Yeah, literally Era 8 is taking over. It's our latest drop of White Fox Lounge and I'm obsessed with the collection. It's really cute.
It is.
I think I want to wear it to the airport for our next trip, which is coming up.
It is. And that's probably why there's been so much going on for us. Like we're in full prep mode for going over to our next US trip.
Yeah.
And we're so excited, but we've got a lot of prep.
A lot of
in
prep
the lead
to
up.
do.
So the team is headed over to Coachella. So by the time this episode goes live, we'll be leaving in 2 days.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's happening so quick. We are both so excited. Coachella was like my favorite
highlight
part of last year. Like literally my life highlight. It was so much fun. We had the best time ever. And I feel like going to LA in this time as well is just so exciting because so many people are going, like all of the influencers, anyone that lives there, all the celebrities, like everyone goes to Coachella. Everyone's making their way from LA to Palm Springs and it's just going to be big vibes.
It's an exciting time of year, isn't it? Like the vibes are just high over there. I feel like they're just getting into like more of their summer, like coming out of winter and it's just vibes. Like there's just a lot happening. We have like quite a while over there with the team as well, which is really nice. And
it's a long trip.
Yeah.
We're there for about 2 weeks. Yeah. My housemate's like, no, don't leave me. I'm like,
I'm lucky I'm bringing my housemate with me actually.
I know. You guys get to do everything together. That's really nice.
It is really nice. It is. I know, especially like after like coming back. And I feel like with your luggage and you're tired, like we just both get it. We're just like there. I'm like, okay, we need a sandwich. We need some chill time. Like it's nice to come back together.
That is really nice.
Your housemate, she's like in the similar industry. She would get it.
She is. She just got back from the F1 actually. And I've been seeing the F1 all over my TikTok.
Cody's got a new obsession. Are we going to talk about it?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with Lando Norris and I think a lot of people are at the moment. He went on Chicken Shop and I'm just obsessed with him. He's so cute.
The Chicken Shop makes me get like invested into someone.
Yeah.
She really like brings out a side of people that you're like, oh my God, am I obsessed with you?
I think actually upon reflection, I'm more obsessed with her than I am with any of her guests. She's just such a slay. I'm just like, good for you. I saw an interview of hers the other day and she said that she just like started it in uni just because she had an idea and like it's just been her concept, her production the whole time, like not with any other production company. I'm like,
that's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. And yeah,
it's
just gotten
niche.
these amazing guests.
Like
so, good for her. But F1, I feel like we should be F1 wags.
I mean, I'm not saying no. F1 driver.
Monaco. Yes, let's talk about that. We did one for White Fox. We need to actually do the one for
we should do it after
hours.
This.
Yeah, we should.
Has everyone seen the trend? I'm sure you have, where it's like calling out your friend for what guy they're going for. Like it'll be like F1 driver, where? Like or like guy who doesn't text you back, where? Such a funny trend. I love it.
I'm obsessed. It's so funny. Every one of them goes viral.
Yeah.
It's like a really subtle way for everyone to expose themselves.
Yeah. I like how it's like a lot of TikTok trends, like you already got the sound of it, but this one you have to like think of something that your friend's into to be like,
yeah.
Where?
We'll do it very shortly. You'll be seeing it on our TikTok. Keep an eye out.
I already know what ones.
Okay, expose one.
I asked Laura.
About me?
Yeah. She said ugly boys.
Where? Oh, I got one for you.
Okay, go.
Short kings.
I don't think this for me. I don't like that. Okay, I've got one more for you. Athletes.
Oh, no, I'm not accepting that. I'm moving on.
One more. boys who don't live in the same state.
Oh, that's true. And that's such an unfortunate problem for me.
Melbourne boys are your like aesthetic, I think.
Yeah, I think they are. They really are. They're just better there. Sydney boys.
I've never been.
You never been to Melbourne?
Maybe we need to go on like a Melbourne trip.
Have you never been to Melbourne?
Never been to Melbourne.
We
Ever.
absolutely do. I'm trying to get everyone I know to go to Melbourne with me.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to come.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Let's go. We're going to do a trip.
It's for market research,
exactly.
I think. Anyway, we shall be doing that trend later.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like mainly what's going on. We're back to the Era 8. We have by the time this podcast goes live, it'll be a week later, but we have a Era 8 gifting suite in our LA showroom this week, well today. So everyone over there will also be taking over in this loungewear. So like, yeah, everyone's going to get their hands on Era 8.
Era 8 is taking over. You'll see it on us at the airport.
Yes, I think that's essential that we wear it to the airport next week.
I agree. And everyone stay tuned for all the fun we
have
coming.
so much planned, guys. Like, I'm so excited.
So excited.
For White Fox and for the podcast. I feel like we have a lot more than usual planned for you guys. Like, usually we just do a bit of a recap, but this time we have podcasts, guests coming, which is fun. But we're doing like a little vlog casting situation over there a lot. And yeah, but it's going to take you along for everything.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to know what happens on the trip, we'll take you along for it.
We're showing you the real BTS, the real tea, and a few things we've never tried before as well. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that.
Lots coming. But should we get into today's episode?
Yes.
Today we are giving you our advice on a few of the situations that we've had written in. So it's all things from dating, friendships. What else have we got in there? It's a real mix. Career, yes.
Just all of our advice.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just our advice. This is just what we would do. But yeah, just out here to have some girly chats with you guys.
Literally, we're just trying to help you
and
girlies
some boy
out.
chats. We actually had a boy right in too.
Yeah, we did, which is interesting. But I feel like I have good opinions on that one. So we can get into that.
Yeah, so let's
we do the
get
first
into
one?
it. Okay, I can read out the first one.
Okay.
Why does he keep planning dates with me and then cancelling the day of? He has asked me out a few times now, and whenever it gets the day of, he always has an excuse as to why he can't make it.
This has happened to me before recently.
Speaking from experience,
recently, yes. And okay, so the question is, why does he keep cancelling the day of? I mean, I hate to break it to you, but he doesn't care. And I feel like it can be hard when, like for me personally, I've been trying to put myself out there and be like in my dating era. And when you say yes and you're a busy person and you make time for someone who's just like having you as a backup option, like if they're cancelling on the day, you're their backup.
Yeah. If like, you know yourself, if you're into someone, there's no way you're going to cancel that because you don't want to make them look like you're not interested. Like, and you're excited to go.
Yeah.
And you want someone who is excited to go on that date with you, who's going to put in effort. And if they are canceling, they have a really good reason and they've rescheduled straight away.
Yes. It's like things happen, but it's the rescheduling, it's the showing that you're interested. If they just give you like an excuse or, God forbid, don't even apologize, then it's like, well, what are we doing here? Like,
no, I know.
Yeah, I had a situation where a guy asked me out and then it cancelled. This has happened twice. So this
I'm the
guy's
same person. He
in the
is
bin now.
cancelled.
But it happened twice where he cancelled, no apology, no rescheduling. And I was like, what's going on? Like, you're lucky. I'm surprised I even gave him a second chance, but I did.
He was lucky to get
a second chance. And then he did the same thing. I was like, no way. It's like, we're busy girls out here. We're not making time for these people that don't respect our time at all.
Yeah. And I think it is hard now. Like, people do have so many options on social media, on dating apps, especially where we live. Like, it is a lot of options. So people can just be so casual with dating.
Yeah.
But I feel like you just need to, like, know also, like, even for you, like, it's like, it is a numbers game out here. It's
true.
like, if you are dating, like, there is always going to be some people who aren't going to respect your time.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's just your response that matters. Like, and it's just like you knowing, okay, this isn't actually a me problem.
No.
It's a them problem.
Yeah.
And cancelling them basically. Do what Cody's done. Take a note out of her book. Like if this was me personally, I would just be like, okay, like not interested. I wouldn't even be like saying anything. Like if that's what this person's wondering, like if you should even send a message back to say that you're disappointed, like I think the best thing to do is just no response, take it as what they're giving you for face value. They're not interested and move on.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words. And I think it goes back to if you're confused, they don't like you.
Yeah.
They've like enough said, like move on. It's not worth it.
If
Put them in the bin.
They don't like you. Yeah. Like sometimes you can be so much just like, but they did plan the date. Like they did do this, they did do that. It's just like,
but think about what they didn't do.
I know.
And it's like you have to really just take your emotions out of it, take what you want the situation to be and the projections out of it and be like, no, this is what he did. He clearly doesn't like me. Move on, find someone that does.
It's just so annoying. It's just like, why do they do it in the first place?
Okay, next one. How do I get a guy to put in more effort into planning a date? I feel like I'm constantly being asked over to his rather than going out and it feels very minimal effort. I don't want to have to ask him to take me to dinner or put more effort in. Okay, this is hard because I feel like the dating culture, especially in Australia, is such a low effort culture. And guys have so many options that they can like access so easily now with like dating apps and social media where they feel like they don't have to put in the effort to get someone. So like, why would they?
And I feel like a lot of people do accept the bare minimum. So then guys have just got this idea now that everyone's going to accept the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And it's just like they don't have to make that effort.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes like as girls, we don't want to appear too like picky or like too hard to get. You feel like you're not going to get that standard. So you don't want to make guys meet you there, but they will if you make that standard for yourself.
Or they won't and you're better off without it. Because like I've kind of had these like a situation a little bit like this recently and I just like didn't put up with it and they kind of, that was it. So like even if they don't, it's just like you're weeding that person out earlier.
Yeah.
So it's like if you set your standard or your boundary and you're like, okay, this isn't actually what I'm looking for, but then they were never going to meet you there anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like,
okay,
you know earlier.
I think there's two sides to this. 100%, some guys just aren't going to do it and weaning them out, they've done you a favor by leaving you alone. However, there's some guys that I feel like they just need a little nudge in the right direction and you can kind of coerce them into giving you the experience that you want or like showing them what treatment you expect. And like sometimes guys will meet you there. So I feel like if someone is like, oh, hey, like, do you want to come over and I'll make you dinner on the first date or something? And you're like, I know exactly what that means. No. I feel like it's fine to send a message and be like, hey, like, why don't we go out and get a drink first?
Yeah.
And you just start with something like that. And it's like, no, I'm not, like I have boundaries. I'm not just doing whatever you want to do. Let's go out into like a more mutual ground. Or even if you don't drink or you don't want to like go out like that, you could be like, why don't we just go for a walk? Why don't we go to the beach? Do something a bit more casual. And you can kind of just assess the vibes.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with this. I feel like there's like either way, like if you put up that boundary, you're either going to get what you want or you're going to know sooner that it's not what you want, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And I feel like you feel so much better if you don't let them walk all over you and cross your boundaries. Then you're like you honestly never regret that.
No, 100%. But yeah, I feel like it's always like fine to suggest the day that you want. Like you don't have to leave it 100% up to them. Like you're also in control of like what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. Like if someone's suggesting a really low effort kind of option, but you're like, okay, like meet me in the middle kind of thing. Like I think that's totally fine for you to just be like, hey, like I was actually like wanting to try this like place for a drink. Like, did you want to, like, are you free then?
Yeah. Like don't be scared that you're going to scare them away because if they get scared away, then they're not worth it. Yeah. Bye. I hope you do.
It eliminates your time wasting anyway. So it's like, bye. Do you have any advice on getting into a career you love? I feel like everyone around me knows what direction that they want to go in and I don't even know where to start or what kind of career I would even be interested in. Any advice for someone feeling a little lost right now? I feel like it's a good time not to put too much pressure on yourself. like I feel if this person has just kind of like not figured out what they want to do first, like you do have so much time. I feel like sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves and comparing ourselves to everyone around us. So I think like firstly, it's just nice to like actually not put too much pressure on yourself and like be kind to yourself in this situation.
Yeah.
For starters.
I think that's true because you're never going to get anywhere when you're in like a stressed mindset and when you're literally just freaking out because you're comparing yourself to your friends or people around you that might know exactly what they want. The reality is most of us have no clue what we're doing. We're just like winging it and hoping for the best.
Yeah. I think like it's different for some people. Like for me personally, like I always knew what I wanted to do. So like I've just been so stuck on that. Like I've just always known. But like for someone who has no idea where to even start, because obviously like that's not the same situation for other people. I think I would just talk to people and try different things. Like even going on LinkedIn, Instagram, like just researching what kind of jobs there are out there. Like obviously like not Instagram for everything, but like TikTok, like different things. Like you can like, I don't know, a lot of people post like a day in the life, or like on LinkedIn you can see where a lot of people work. Like I know that's how when I first was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like I'd stalk the LinkedIn accounts of people that I looked up to or like had a similar role that I wanted, and I would trying to like research what they did to get there. So I feel like it's just like talking to people in the roles. Like I feel like there's always so many people. Like I've had people reach out to me on LinkedIn and like wanted to chat about how I got into a role on Instagram. And I feel like people are so open to that. Like if you message them, I feel like they would be so open to talking to you about how they got there or like what it entails and things like that. So I think like the more information that you know, the easier and more clearer it's going to be for you. And like just thinking about like what do you enjoy, all those kind of things is always just going to help you. Because you are there for so long. You're there for most of your life and like you need to like enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like all of that is like such good advice. And for someone that maybe has literally no idea about any of the jobs that they're even interested in, I think go back to like, what do you like doing in your spare time? What do you like doing as a hobby? What skills do you have? What were you good at in school? And just go from the basics and think about that and what that could look like in a job. And also think about your values with your work. Like you might really value doing something creative and constantly having your days look different, or you might value having a job that has a lot more structure or
like helping people.
Yeah, helping people. Like you just need to look at what's going to work for you and not compare yourself to other people or put like expectations from parents or anything above what's going to work for you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to go to work every day and motivate yourself. So I feel like what you want to do and what makes you feel good is the only important thing.
And it's also an exciting thing. Like I feel like you need to look at it as an exciting thing. Like it's an opportunity. Like you have so many options. There's so many things you can be.
Literally.
From like a nurse to a flight attendant to being in like, yeah, like you said, like more creative role. There's like literally endless opportunities. Yeah. So it's an exciting thing.
Yeah, it is.
Like get excited about it.
It is exciting. I didn't even think that our jobs were like an option in school. When I'm thinking about everything that I wanted, that's exactly what I have now. But I didn't think that you could do that years ago.
What did you want to do when you were in school?
I honestly had no idea really. Like I knew that when I was younger, I wanted to be like a journalist or like work for a magazine or something, because I feel like that was what our job kind of is now. Back then, like when I was a bit younger, seeing like The Devil Wears Prada, I was like, I want that. Like I want to work in fashion. I want to like be a fashion journalist. But social media kind of is the modern version of that. Yeah. So I guess I am doing what I wanted, but I didn't have like a clear, like, I want this. I just
more of like
had
an
idea
of like the
and then just worked my way into what I actually wanted. But it's really hard and it's really overwhelming to know when you finish school.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like not always, like I feel like it might be different now that you do see that like there are so many different options.
Yeah.
But I feel like for us, like it wasn't as clear then. But I feel like, yeah, there's literally, the opportunities are literally endless. So I feel like maybe sometimes because there are so many things that you can do, like it probably can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, that's true,
But I think you just need to back yourself in whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like you just need to back yourself and be like, okay, like I'm whatever it takes, and like know that there's going to be knockbacks, and like you're going to have to start in like studying or like in a lower kind of role to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But I think just back yourself, take every opportunity, and like even like work experience is a good way to know, because you might think that something is a certain like way, but you do it and you're like, okay, this is nothing like what I thought it could be. So
Yeah. I agree. And I think if you're feeling really, really lost, the best thing you can do is like take a bit of a break and clear your head and travel. That's why I took a gap year, and it was like the best thing ever. Yeah. So
I did the same.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely worthwhile after school, because it can be very overwhelming. Next one. Why has he ghosted me? I've been seeing a guy for a few months every week. We were constantly communicating, going on regular dates, and then last week he left me undelivered and I haven't heard from him since. It's tough.
It's a common thing that happens in the dating world.
Yeah.
So just know you're not alone.
You're not alone. Everyone's been through it. We have been through it. Ghosting is so mean. That's why I will never do it to someone else anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's the worst thing you can do.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I respect someone a lot more if they can just be like, look, this is like the situation.
Yeah.
Rather than like not knowing, like, are they going to message soon? Are they going to like, I don't know, like it does like throw you a little bit. And I feel like it really bruises the ego.
It does, yeah.
Every time it happens, I feel like you get more and more stronger to it.
Yeah.
But just know, like, it's literally not you. Like, no one is an exception of this.
No, everyone's been through it. And I think, yeah, as you said, you've just got to take it as this is their problem. Like, it's really embarrassing for them that they're not even, like, they can't man up enough to just tell you what happened. So that's their own issue. You don't know what's going on in their life, and it's not for you to find out. I think you have to create your own closure and move on for yourself. I think there's nothing wrong with like sending a message and being like, what's going on? If you've been talking for months, I would send a message and be like, just so that you like know that you've done everything and you don't ever have to look back and be like, I wish I sent a message. Just do it. Send a very simple message. If you don't get a response back, bye. Like that's actually all you need to know. That's your closure.
Yeah.
Put him in the actual bin.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing to call someone out on like on how they're treating you. Especially if it's been like, I think it depends for me if I would send a message how long it's been.
Yeah.
But if it's been a while, then I think I would want to send a message just so like they know that they're not getting away with it. It's like teaching these people some lessons out here.
I feel like you need to keep it with how you feel as well. Like don't project anything onto them.
I don't know if I'd do it actually. I don't know if I could do the message.
If you've been seeing someone for months and they just blipped out of nowhere, you'd be like, what's going on? To be honest, when this happened to me, I did not send them a message. But I would now.
Yeah, you would now.
I would now. And that caused me so much mental turmoil, being like, what's going on? Like, where is he? I thought about that for so long.
And if you
when
had
I could have just sent him a message, been like, I just didn't want to know the response because I already knew what it would be. It'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm not interested, but I didn't want to hear that. So I just like made up all these stories in my head for so long. When I could have just sent him a message, been like, he probably would have responded. If not, that's even more confirmation that he's not interested. Move on. Bye. Done. Forever.
You know what? They all like 80% of the time they'll be back.
I know.
I feel like that's another reason that sometimes people ghost, because it's just like to keep the option there. Like if they don't send that final message, like they kind of do just slide back in a little bit later. It's like not that like formal like ending to it. But like in a few months, they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to pick that up again.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just leaving the option open. Because if they're like, oh, sorry, like not interested, this, that, it's a bit harder for them to slide back in later.
That's true.
But I feel like they do always come back, and he did.
Yeah, he did. But I feel like just creating your own closure always is so important, because you can't control what anyone else does or how they treat you. All you can control is how you react. So just protect your peace and close up that situation yourself.
Yeah.
And
don't reply when they message again. If they've ghosted you in the past, take that as what it is. We're not letting them slide back in a little story like and then a story reply. Like we're not letting that happen.
No, we're better than this.
So what I did for Cody personally, I changed the contact in her phone of this person to that's embarrassing. So if she ever felt the need to contact him, she would be like, oh, yeah, that's really embarrassing. But now he's calling.
Yeah. Now whenever he calls, it comes through as call from that's embarrassing. And you know what? That is
It's an actual life hack.
It is.
If anyone needs like a reminder when they're out to not call their ex situationship or ghosting or ex anything, change their name in your phone to that's embarrassing and it works. It really works. You will not be calling him. You'll be
time.
like on a night out and you'll be like, I'm going to, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
The amount of times I've looked at it and been like, don't do it. Don't do it. And then when they call you, it's like, it is so embarrassing. Like, yes, it is embarrassing and it makes you laugh. It's not like, oh my God, he's calling me. It's like, oh my God, he's calling me. Like, how embarrassing.
True, actually, it does work that way around because like if they call and you like see the number, you're like, huh? But like you're like, oh, awkward.
And I feel like you can personalize it as well. Like that's embarrassing is standard, but like you can make it something personal to your situation that really reminds you of how terribly they treated you.
Yeah.
Life hack, it really works.
So I think my boyfriend is gaslighting me. Ooh. Whenever I try to bring up any issue with my boyfriend, he shuts me down completely and I always end up being the one to apologize. Any advice on dealing with this?
This
is
hate
horrible.
That.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes boys that aren't emotionally mature will really like downplay your feelings. And like it does feel quite like manipulative, but it's just because they can't open their eyes and be like, okay, like your feelings are serious. Let's talk it through.
Yeah. Relationships aren't always fun and happy. Like you do need to have these situations where you're having conversations and being open with things. And if you're not getting that from that person, it's really like, I feel like a lot of people can do this as well, like where they actually do turn around things and like gaslight you and make it your issue just because they feel uncomfortable with the situation.
Yeah, 100%. Or it's like the victim mindset. Like if you're always the one that's apologizing, they're clearly, did she say boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah. The boyfriend is like clearly flipping the situation, manipulating you and being like, no, like I'm the victim, like blah, 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 apologize to me. No, we're not dealing with that.
Yeah.
That's infuriating. If someone can't even admit when they've upset you, like how are you supposed to be in a relationship with them?
I know. I mean, like if this person, like obviously if it's your boyfriend and like you're writing in, like you do want a reason, like something to kind of fix the situation. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard because people like this, if you are saying, well, actually like you're not listening to me, are they even going to listen to you?
I know.
Like it just sounds like for me personally, where I'm at now, I would just be like, I'm done with this situation.
Yeah.
Like obviously you want to be with someone who you can talk about your feelings with. Like that's so important.
That's like the biggest part of any healthy relationship, I think, is like healthy communication.
You can always tell him how you're feeling for lack of the last time. I mean, and like just say this is like how you're making me feel. But I think from there, if it doesn't change, then it's like kind of just, it's not really.
It's not worth
it.
That. Yeah. I think with people like this as well, the best way that you can approach these situations is really like calmly and not accusing them of anything and just being like, this is actually how I feel and how this situation is making me feel. Like I would really like if you could do this, this and this and just like really breaking it down, because the second that you're like, you did this to me and I don't like this that you do, I feel like they start getting defensive, they start playing the victim, and then that's when you're like, how do we get here where I'm apologizing?
You do need to be careful with your words.
Yeah.
In these situations, like and how like your language and I agree. You can't be like blaming them because even though it is them.
I know.
But like just, if you're saying how you're feeling and they're not like reciprocating that well and like responding to that well, then
I feel like this is a big red flag for me though.
Oh, same.
Like someone that can't even have a conversation without like turning it into like a big drama. I'm like, grow up. Like you're such a baby.
No, I know. But some people, like even that are grown up, they
Yeah.
just have like this like thing where they gaslight and like that's how their relationship is. And it's like, yeah, this person's obviously not wanting to be caught up in the toxic cycle of that.
It's easier to find a new man's than to fix an old one. So up to you. If you think that this person has the capacity to change, then that's for you to decide. But it sounds like he needs some serious therapy and that doesn't have to be your problem. So I wouldn't be dealing with it.
Yeah. I think there's some things that you can change and then there's some things that is just like a personality defect.
Yeah.
And this sounds like one of those.
Oh, poor thing though. That's hard. Oh, okay. This is one that a boy has written in. So I have a crush on a girl at my gym and I don't know what to do. Ideally, I'd love to ask her on a date and get to know her better one-on-one, but don't want to come across creepy. Any help is appreciated. Okay, this is really interesting because I feel like gym or like workplace or like any time that you're going to see someone repeatedly is a bit of a trickier situation.
Workplace, yeah, that's like a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I feel like the gym is where a lot of people meet their partner.
Yeah.
Because you are like, you're interested in the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I think like it is where a lot of people are, but you do need to be careful because you are going to be running into them.
Yeah. Okay, tangible advice. Say you have a gym crush. You want them to ask you out. I feel like
I would not do anything about it personally.
I feel like though it's really nice that they're like wanting to actually spend time and get to know this person better. You just have to be a bit more careful and make sure that they're definitely interested. And I feel like you just need to look out for the warning signs. Like, is there a lot of eye contact?
Yeah.
Are they talking to you in a flirty way? Maybe you can test the waters a little bit before you like
start chatting.
Dive head first. Start chatting. Like, maybe do it in a more friendly setting. Like, oh, do you want to get a coffee like after the gym? And just assess the vibes. And if you feel like you're getting like no flirty vibes at all, like maybe they're not interested.
And then you can just play it off like you were wanting a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and that could be the worst case.
Yeah.
Not even a bad case though. Like, but like you could have just made a new friend.
Literally.
Yeah, I think that's good advice.
And
I mean, I've had someone come up to me after the gym and just ask for my Instagram or my number. And like, I didn't feel awkward that after, like, we kind of are just friends now.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of respected that.
Yeah.
When he did that. I was like, oh, like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think girls are ever creeped out by someone being respectful and asking for like if they want to go on a date or whatever. I don't think I'd act weird after, even if I didn't want to.
I'd be just more friendly. Like, I'd say, oh, hey, like
if you feel awkward if they say no or whatever, I think you just probably have to like get over it.
Yeah.
And it's not that big of a deal.
No, I agree. I think guys are probably the same, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I think like we do deep it a lot in our head and like think it's going to like, because it is scary putting yourself out there. But I think they're both good advice. Like, if you feel more comfortable with just kind of being a bit more relaxed and like asking for a coffee. But also, yeah, I've like literally had guys, like, well, guys. Yeah, I've had so many guys. That's my number at the gym. Like, I've had a guy do that to me and like I was just like, oh, that's nice. Like, it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
And like if they don't want to, then they can say no or make up an excuse or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
exactly.
Most of the time you're probably going to be like, I think the success rate would be quite high if you actually ask.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised. Like girls, especially in Australia,
no one asks us out in real life.
No one asks you out in real life. So if you actually ask a girl out in real life, I think you'd have a like 80% chance success rate.
But do be careful of the gym situation.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like gym or work or anything like that. Just do be conscious that like
you're going to see them. Okay, next one. What are your thoughts around having dibs on a guy when going out? I feel like sometimes my friends will always put dibs on a guy before talking to him, and it's made some awkward situations when we're out. If they've spoken to me or any of our other friends, she'll get upset. I feel like this is hard. I feel like, and we've said this before in other podcasts because I feel like we've had questions like this before. I don't think you can have dibs on someone, especially before you've even spoken to them.
Nah.
Like, you don't know what their type is. You have no idea what that guy is interested in. So for you to be like, okay, like I'm cutting off all these options for you and I'm the only person that you can talk to.
You're just setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Because if they don't like you, first of all, that sucks for you. You're like, oh, what a shame when you don't even know them. You don't know their personality. You don't even know if you'd get along with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, what if they go for one of your friends, as this person's saying,
And then
and
it's
you're just
making it
you're gonna
awkward.
feel really like bad about yourself and like feel like you've lost something that you didn't even have in the first place.
Agree with that. It's like you wouldn't want a guy being like, oh, I've got dibs on her tonight. Sorry,
Yeah.
boys. Like, you can't actually talk to
Yeah.
anyone else. You can't, no one else can talk to her. And like, you could have had your eye on one of his friends, but he's like, sorry, like, you can't talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, I just think I don't think you can do it. I don't think I feel like it just makes things awkward. And it's just like for your friend as well, they could be interested too, but they've just not said it out loud.
I know. Yeah, because like most of the time, if one of my friends were to say something like that, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'd rather choose you over a boy. So.
But don't make them make that decision
No,
over
it's
someone
really
that
awkward.
you don't know.
Especially if you have lots of single friends. Like I think, yeah, this girl is right. It makes some awkward situations. And I think maybe if you have a friend that's doing this, it's an awkward conversation to have with them, but you could just bring it up in a casual way and being like, I don't really like the whole dibs thing. Like, it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe we should just like not do the whole dibs thing.
Yeah.
And just bring it up lightly and see what the kind of reaction is.
It's awkward for them as well. Like, if I went out on a night out and I was like, sorry guys, like I've dibs this guy, and then he starts like going up to my friend, I would want to leave.
I just feel like it's way better to say nothing.
I feel like it's hard as well. Like, if you are living in a certain place with your single friends, there's not always like that whole amount of options. And it's like you're kind of like gatekeeping these opportunities from your friends, like that they could be so much. Like that could be their soulmate. And you're like, that could literally be their soulmate. Yeah. And you're like, sorry, you can't actually talk to him because he's hot and I want to.
Because I think he's hot, yeah.
But like they're soulmates.
Exactly. And even if it's like,
dramatic,
but they're yeah, I mean, you never know. If it's like, oh, that's so my type. Like, I think it's okay.
It's still giving a bit icky.
It's giving a bit icky though, because I feel like people's type changes. Like a lot of people.
Mine changes a lot.
Mine changes a lot. And a lot of people who are in like relationships, it might not be their usual type, but they just really got along. It's like, I think it is hard when a lot of your friends are single, but you've just all got to have like respect for each other and know that maybe not every night is your night to like find someone. Like maybe you need to give your friends some hyping up sometimes or whatever. And because this could be coming from insecurity of like, this person feels like they never get attention. So they have to be like, dibs, like you can't go for them.
Cancel the dibs, I think.
Cancel the dibs. Make sure all your friends are feeling comfortable, confident, and then just like all have respect for each other, I think. So I feel like my friend doesn't have my best interest at heart. I feel like every time I speak to her, she isn't happy for anything that's going on in my life, and it's always comparing our lives and talking about herself. I find it really hard to open up and share with her now.
This is a hard one because like I feel like you need to have people in your life that are making you feel good. It's like you get to a certain point where it's like you only want to let people in and like have time for people who are making you feel good.
Yeah, and you should be able to share your accomplishments with your friends without feeling like you're being judged. Like it really does sound like this person is just jealous of you. And I think it's also hard to be like, oh, well, it's just because my friend's jealous of me. Like that's not really what you're going to think straight away, because the way that they're making you feel is like you're not good enough, but it's actually just because they feel insecure.
Yeah, and it might not always be that they're like, I feel like it could be two different situations, like they're completely jealous of you. It could just be the lack of in their life that they need the feel, like they're feeling so not good in themselves that they're needing to kind of like make themselves feel better all the time. Yeah. So it could be like either.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like yeah, those
which you would want to hope it's that.
yeah.
Because then that means.
But then I guess that is still like somewhat jealousy. It's just not like raging, like I'm so jealous of you. It's like just feeling that lack in yourself.
But I feel like if you like to, yeah, it's hard. Because I feel like if it's like one of your really good friends that you value, you obviously want to have a conversation with them. And if they are your friend, like you should be able to. And maybe they're not even realizing that they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all comes from like you need to make a decision based off the conversation that you have with them. And it's like not going to be an easy conversation, but if this person is important to you, I feel like they would respect more like for you to have that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like most of the time with good friends when this happens, it's probably subconscious that they're doing this. And they wouldn't most of the time admit straight away that it's because they are feeling jealous. But maybe if you just let them know how you feel, they can come back and be like, honestly, it's actually just because of everything that I'm going through. It has nothing to do with you. Like, sorry, I didn't even realize. Hopefully that's how the situation would go. But yeah.
And then they change it. Like it's all in the actions after. Like are they going to like change how they act around you? Because if they're not, then it's like actually not even worth it.
Yeah, 100%. I think you need to have friends that you can talk to about anything.
Yeah,
if they're a good friend, like you don't want to feel like you can't bring anything up and you're just there to listen to everything that they say. Like that's not an equal friendship.
No.
So yeah, I think be open, just stick with how they're making you feel and leave them room to kind of explain where it's coming from for them and hopefully you can resolve it. But if not, that's not a friendship.
No, it's not. And like you want to leave a situation feeling energized. And sometimes there is, like if it is a real friendship, sometimes there is days where it's just going to be all about them and they're talking about the things that are not going well for them. And like that's okay because it equals out over the time frame of your friendship. Like then you'll have days that it needs to be all about you because you're expressing how you're feeling and you've had a bad day. But I think like you need to kind of like equal out in the end of things.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you need friends that are happy for what's going on in your life.
Otherwise you're just a sounding board for them. You're not like having a conversation. They're just talking at you.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. No. And there's so many amazing friends that are out there for you. So if one of them is stealing up all your time and energy and they're not going to change, then bye.
In the bin.
A lot of people are going in the bin today. The bin's full. It's trash day.
If you're having to write in these things, I feel like there is situations where you can have conversations and it can be fixed. And I hope for like most of these that can happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, if not, it's in the bin.
I think a common theme is like, these are all other people's issues that they're putting on you and you just need to tell them how it's making you feel and they need to go fix that on their own and you need to separate yourself from it. And I feel like the more that you can separate yourself and know that like you're good on your own and it's not your issue, the more that you'll just be generally better in every situation. And also same goes for you. Like I feel like if you're being so conscious of how other people are treating you, you need to be really conscious about how you're treating other people as well.
Yeah.
We're all just being better people out here.
Yeah. 2024 is for being better people. But yeah.
That's all our advice. I hope that you guys got something out of it. I feel like whenever we do these episodes, I'm like, okay, like I feel like a bit more perspective about things because it's not often that we're like having these chats of like really going in depth with these things.
About what to do. But yeah, it does make things a bit clearer. And like we all have this, like, I don't know, it's like you all have this in you, like when you're listening to what you actually know and like your gut. But I think it takes someone else when you're in this situation to tell you that. When you're in a certain situation and you're deep in it, it does sometimes take like someone else's perspective from the outside or even someone that's separated and doesn't know anyone in the situation. So I feel like that's always a good thing is to talk to someone like we have no idea the like details of the people in this situation.
Yeah.
So it's like you just knowing the facts. That's how you would react to that situation.
Exactly. I agree.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed that episode. And like we said, we have lots of fun like episodes coming. We can't wait for you to hear it all, honestly.
It's going to be so fun.
So
definitely stay tuned.
And make sure you subscribe and download wherever you get your podcast.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at White Fox After Hours for all the extra BTS content. And we'll see you next week.